My name's Austin Nicholas. I'm the founder and CEO of GetFocused, a meeting software and training company that helps you, I hope, and I'm sure can do, conduct more effective and engaging remote meetings. But before I get started, I just really want to sort of gauge how we're all feeling, because I think as always a good icebreaker for any meeting is a very simple traffic light icebreaker, is just to gauge whether people are feeling red, amber, bit so-so, or green to go. I'm hoping that the majority of you are green to go. It's lovely weather and it's a great time of year, and one of the reasons I love living in Latvia now, having moved from the UK many moons ago. So yeah, let's just crack on, and I'm assuming, because I can't see you all, that we're green to go. And I think one way to ensure really that no meeting can be effective and focused if people are trying to multitask. And back in the day, a year or two ago, we actually developed a simple product for this to try and encourage people to be free from distractions during every in-person meeting. And I'd put their phones in this device. I'm going to put this to 15 minutes because that's the stage time I have today. And sure enough, this boots up the meeting and acts as our timer to ensure that we are keeping on track. So I'm going to put that down there so I can see it on the side of my eye. So yeah, whatever you do, ensure when you're kind of the best habit to adopt when you're running, whether it be virtual meetings or in-person meetings, is to ensure that everyone is free from distraction. Everyone's present and everyone is focused. The reason being for this, there are actually some studies by the Institute of Psychiatry in London. And they found that people that are sort of checking emails and looking at their phone whilst conversing or whilst in meetings, people experienced a 10-point fall in their IQ. Now, to relate to this that is twice that found of smoking marijuana. So I think really maybe that could be something you want to think about when you notice people continually being distracted in meetings. They might as well be high as a kite smoking a joint in your meeting. It is not a productive use of time. So as a policy, if you get anything away from this talk, please try and make that a habit. The other one, as I walked in, it was kind of great. Make sure you're hydrated, have some water on hand. It lubricates the mind, it lubricates the body, it helps you focus. And the other one is simply have a breath. So I'd like everyone just to take 3 deep breaths. I see the team doing it here. It's great to see. But no, in all seriousness though, it does actually give you more clarity and it makes you actually just a little bit more confident. Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, they're big advocates of silent starts for meetings because it does help ensure that people are on the same page. Okay, so what I've been doing. So as I mentioned, I moved here many years ago. It's back in 2005. And I started working as a trust architect. We were running offsites and team buildings for the likes of Google, Nestle, Cytec. And really, what I was trying to do is just, get people to open up and connect with one another. And obviously now we've had a big shift in a big change. I don't want to say the C word, but for obvious reasons, we've had a tremendous growth in virtual meetings. Up to 80% of managers' time is spent on Zoom or on Hangouts or Teams or whatever platform you use. And I have a mission to destroy pointless and unproductive meetings. I feel your pain. To free up time to spend do matter, kind of whether that be spending time with your family and your friends, or just simply taking some time to be mentally and physically well, or you might actually want to do some work in your day rather than just sit in countless meetings. That is what we're aiming to try and solve for you. Did you know that one car has over 200 sensors, i.e. data points, to ensure that every second counts so that they can have that competitive advantage both on and off the grid? And I just couldn't quite understand why meetings are not, we haven't got any systems to sort of capture data points or have any sensors to ensure that we can optimize our time and performance in them, despite so much time being spent in remote meetings. And the biggest that many companies are currently experiencing or doing is they're not implementing any systems to manage productivity whilst maintaining maintain productivity whilst offering the flexible workforcing or flexible working culture that people are expecting in these times. And I think that is something really what we're aiming to try and achieve now with GetFocused, is to provide the systems and the structures and the philosophies and the habits and the tools to help you manage that balance. Now, why is this important? It's quite simple, really. Birds flock, fish school, people tribe. And a sense of survival, and what this means is really for people, if they don't get that sense of belonging, that they feel part of something, fear kicks in. And fear is stimulated by this sort of little walnut piece in your brain called the amygdala that basically it creates a sort of fight, flight, or freeze response. And I don't know about you, but you don't want that in your team. You don't want people fighting or flighting or freezing because essentially they are the most precious resource you have. So you ought to be thinking, how can you actually get that sense of belonging? Now, if this isn't a familiar face, I would really, really recommend, this would be point 2. So remember, free from distractions. Point 2 would be actually look into Seth Godin. So Seth Godin, he's more of a marketing man, but he is a genius. And he came up with this phrase that a tribe of people connected to one another, to a leader, and connected to a leader. And I was sort of thinking, kind of, how connected to your people do you think are at this moment in time when you don't really see people day to day? Have you lost that sense of connection? And we're on this mission, like I said, to destroy pointless and unproductive meetings, remote meetings, and also remove the remoteness from virtual meetings. We understand meetings are important. So this really what I want to unpack in the next 8 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, I'm looking at my timer here, 8 minutes, is really kind of what should be the right mindset for meetings. That will be what I'll focus on now in the remaining time, but then I will touch into sort of focus meeting habits and rhythms. Now, why habits? And essentially, habits are the fulcrum for success. Mindset create habits, habits leads actions, action dictates results. It really does depend how you define your results to be, whether that will be a financial results benefit or if it's actually just a case of kind of whatever your metrics are. But in order to hit those metrics, those goals, you need to adopt the right mindset and then hence create the better habits. Now, this is what we're up against. Is traditionally, meetings have a pretty bad reputation. Many said that they're sort of they suck a lot of time, there's no purpose, there's no action points. Well, not all key players are present. And you have one of those days where you just look at your calendar, it's back-to-back meetings, you go home and you think, well, what have you done? And you haven't done much. And this is what we've got to start thinking about. Is how can you change the mindset to your meetings? There's a great podcast by Guy Raz. And he interviewed the founders of Atlassian. And he said that meetings are not about working, but connecting. And this is something that I really would want, or I'd advocate you guys thinking about, is how can you adopt a mindset where it's actually a case of how can we connect more with one another? And we've come up with this acronym, Plato Mindset. That's to be people-focused whilst relating. And that's about being understand before being understood. Listen actively. And that involves about asking a lot of questions. To be ambitious in your goal setting and embrace the conflict and struggle that may bring, Having conflict in meetings is not a bad thing. It shows you give a shit, It's important to have. To be transparent in your actions. And that's going of the ego. So it's a lot more about we, not me. And to be optimistic in your attitude. So it's okay to make mistakes. And Plato came up with this great quote here. Is we don't act rightly because we are excellent. We achieve excellence by acting rightly. This isn't going to come automatic. Now, the reward is simply developing a better culture within your organization by developing such habits. Because trust is a habit. It takes time, it takes work, and it takes consistency. You need to keep implementing it. You need to keep working at it. It's a bit like trying to lose some weight or get fit or whatever. You need to continue. So, this is the meat. This is Keris. This is the GetFocused virtual meeting facilitator. And this simple product integrates with all your video conferencing and project management tools. And what we're really excited about is what we have in store. So what we're going to do is we include, we call it a micometer, that ensures that kind of no one grabs the mic too long. So it will give an idea of how long people have been talking in that meeting to help drive more engagement. There'll be an interval timer. So if you wanted to actually sort of set periods within the meeting for people to present or talk, you can do that on the product. There'll be an engageometer. There'll be topics. We can list and manage all your topics in real time. And we'll even introduce a feature that will actually sort of gauge whether there's too many interruptions during the meeting. But probably most important of all is it will actually gauge whether that meeting time was well spent or not. We will be able to look at, this is a feature in development as we speak, is to actually ensure whether the commitment level at the end of the meeting was high or low. And that, in my mind, is a crucial factor, is that if the meeting's not serving you, don't serve it, don't have it. And really, at the end of the day, it's to ensure that everyone's on the same page. So we'll be able to give you a board and you'll be able to get the analysis to ensure kind of your meeting culture is in a healthy and productive manner, or has been in a good way. This is where I want to give you a very quick overview about the sort of team rhythm that we advocate. It's based loosely on the open methodology, but we believe that kind of rather than working in quarters, you work in month sprints. We have action plan, brainstorm, check-in meetings as teams, and then you have tribal decision exercise and fun meetings. And then you can actually look to then develop the 7 focused habits. And like you said, you can then do the engagement analysis by reviewing the dashboard. And at the end of the day, yes, we want to streamline meetings. We want to reduce the unnecessary admin and increase in levels of engagement, basically to focus on things that do matter. Who we like to help? Well, any company really that's in this sort of growth mode. We call them the creative chaos companies that are sort of wanting to implement systems and processes which they haven't done so far as of yet to ensure that they can adapt well to this hybrid working. And yeah, in many ways they're innovative and hungry, but in some ways weak and vulnerable. These are the companies that we typically do look to cater for. But as I said, we'd be open to talk with anyone that would be interested in utilizing. I'm very pleased to say that we've already achieved some great user feedback and from various verticals. But yes, TET, we developed the iStack, as I presented earlier, in partnership with TET and the Overkill program. At this moment in time, we can offer you the free 7 Habits of Highly Focused Meetings ebook. Please go online on getfocused.team to get that. We've got online training, and the online training is about actually then teaching your teams to integrate Keras and Get Focused into your companies to improve your meetings by up to 20%. That's the goal in 3 months. That's what we're going to strive for. What I would like to offer people here right now is this SmartHR offer, where I'm really keen to sort of create a mastermind with the heads and the leading players in HR in Latvia. I would love to sort of create a meeting rhythm with you guys over the next 12 weeks. You do not have to be in the office. I've got no intention of being sitting in Riga in my office to conduct this program. And I hope that we can actually come together and you can learn more about the 7 habits and running highly effective meetings and meeting rhythms that you could then actually think about and introduce into your companies. I'd be very, 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 be wonderful to do that with a selection of the HR teams in here. One last thing, if I have to go though. The importance of it's the great Steve Jobs said that really time is our most precious resource. And I would like to sort of just get to you guys thinking is, are you investing it wisely in your meeting culture? I'd love to help you. Thank you very much. Please do not hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn. Please do go onto the website and www.getfocused.team and download the book. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you. Enjoy these lovely days. Thank you.